Hey guys, welcome back to the next iteration of our Rocketeer series. We are getting closer and closer now to actually really seeing some life in this car. I'm going to give you a quick walk around of where we're at right now. So you can see that I have the engine, or the transmission is bolted up to the engine, and I have it on this cart. So the Rocketeer guys suggest using a engine hoist like this and actually putting the engine on the bottom of the hoist and sliding it in and then lifting it in from the top. What I'm going to try is I'm going to slide it underneath on this cart, because this cart, by the way, this came from Harbor Freight. I can lift this whole assembly up by jacking on that right there. And then it's got this to let it back down. Now, this thing originally came up, this handle was up, and actually took the pins out here and here so that I could lay this down so that this is going to slip underneath the car. So, here we are. Let's see if we can get this thing installed. What do you say? Hopefully there won't be too much cursing. Okay. Well, the beauty of doing this from underneath like this is that because this engine is sitting on the subframe and the transmission's bolted to it and it's complete, and I know that this will jack up to about here, so I'm going to have to let this, we're going to have to be real careful about that steering shaft too. I can already tell. Very, very careful. Okay, let's let this car down a little bit. I would suggest, even though this is the first one of these I've done, absolutely take your time on this. Make sure you don't scratch your valve covers. Make sure you don't have anything impeding. Looks like to throw out the slave cylinder for the clutch is going into place okay. Okay. You can see I've got my brake calipers hanging right here. They should be out of the way there. Might have to hang it over here. Oh yeah, I like that. That'll get that out of the way a little bit more. One thing that I haven't mentioned to you guys yet is we decided to do these coilovers. So this is field suspension. You can see it's got a threaded collar here, goes into the lower body. They come preloaded the way that Feel wants the springs preloaded, and they're actually single adjustable right here at the top. So we've got ourselves a little bit of a suspension upgrade on this car as well. Okay, focus. Air conditioning lines look like they're clearing pretty good, actually. It's gonna be close, I can tell you that. Okay, I'm within about 18 inches there. Really close to the steering rack or the steering shaft here. I think I'm gonna start jacking this thing up like this. Just a little bit at a time. Oh, that's close. So because this cart still moves around pretty good, I should be able to, once I get the water pump up above, let me show you what I'm looking at here. Once I get this water pump up above these AC lines, I'll then be able to slide this whole thing this direction. So we're looking pretty good here. Nice and easy. Tap it in. Okay, gotta use my hand. If you heard that dinger, that's my sensor out by the road. Kind of tells me somebody's coming in. Turns out it's just my junk guy out back. Going around to see if I've got any scrap metal sitting out back for him to pick up. Alright, I think I'm gonna make sure these starter wires stay up and out of the way. Ooh, that is tight right there next to that steering shaft. It's clearing though. Oh, the dipstick is a little close. We're going to pull that out. Okay, now the water pump's on top of those AC lines. I don't know that I can stress enough here, guys, that make sure you take your time on this. It'd be real handy right about now to have an assistant. I'll get it though. Kind of used to doing everything myself, so. I mean, it is tight. Know what that was? That was the dipstick tube right up against that factory bracket where the original coolant lines ran. She's going. Could use a little shuffle. Like I said, they did not suggest to do it this way. But as a race car guy, kind of used to improvising a little bit. I need to shuffle the back of the transmission over just a little bit. Well, I guess I wouldn't have to quite yet. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of it with my little jack here. Oh yeah, it'll shuffle, no problem. All right, let's see how we're lining up on our studs. Ooh, pretty close. Pretty close. Okay, getting closer, little at a time. So you can see here, I'll give you guys a quick little look. The steering shaft is right there. I mean, it is basically touching that header, but it's not nailed on it. And we just cleared the stock AC fitting right here. We've got lots of room in the back. So before I did this, so we've got room for the AC right here. Before I did this, I actually went over and measured the stock engine front to back here. And it's literally identical front to rear. I did not know that that was the case, but it is. So we are looking good here, coming into position. Okay, up we go. Let's check this slave cylinder over here. Oh yeah, no problems. Just gonna kind of go one pump at a time here. Make sure I don't run into any issues. Those are almost lined up perfect. Pretty close. Kind of amazing how much room is at the back side of this engine. All right, we got to shuffle this motor just a little bit. Push the back end over. Oh yeah, there we go. This little cart is actually working out pretty good. And yeah, it's lining up really good. And it's also easy. It's a little tricky to grab this motor from the top. What I've been doing is I've been going around the Rocketeer engine mounts with two straps, bringing them up top and then grabbing from there. But this actually is looking pretty good. Okay. Oh, I'm right on that stud. Just started. Oh, right on that one too. The steering shaft actually cleared pretty nicely. Good job, Bruce, you were right. It all fits. A little bend on that AC line there. Whew. It's close, but man, it's fitting really good. Looks like she needs a little tilt up in the back. I'm gonna give this just a little bit. I think maybe once I get some weight on it, it's gonna fall in. I'm basically pushing up on the car now. So, we've got just a tiny bit off on this side over here. It's really close though. Kind of looks like. I mean, we are seated on this side all the way up against the subframe, which makes me think I should let this back down a little bit. Okay. So it goes up even. Which actually should help. So, it looks like we could use a little bit of this action man, it's close. It's very close. Okay, that was that side falling in place. This one is she's close, but it's just off a little bit. Not a lot. Don't get your fingers pinched in between the subframe and the chassis. This one's all the way up. I'm gonna put a nut on this side. Maybe a bolt on the back over here. It acts like it needs to just acts like it needs to twist just a tiny little bit. Let's see what this side's looking like. Yeah, definitely needs to twist this way. All right, you guys get to see me crawling around on the floor here trying to get this thing in. First one, you know. First one. Definitely seems like it needs a little twist. There's a little bit of room there. close. She's very, very close. Just about to fall in there. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make things fit. I feel like okay. Well, it's very close. And I'm sure they make these subframes on a jig. Makes me wonder, and I know that this is a 30,000 mile car. So this should not be an issue. But it makes me wonder if, well, it's hard to speculate, to be honest. But it's just off 1/8 of an inch. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this back down and I'm going to give the subframe holes just a little bit of extra clearance because I don't like how tight this is. Sometimes it's just what you have to do. And I think I'm going to do it on all four. Because these need just a little bit here, a little bit here. Like I said, I'm sure that they do these on a jig, weld it all up. But when you're welding something like this together, I'm sure they keep it bolted all together before they pull it off the jig while they're welding. But like anything in racing, no such thing as bolts right on. I think that this is probably something that should, and I imagine that they expect that it does. but we are just a little too tight. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know, the other thing is, and it may be nothing but this, there's a lot of, I mean, all of these components are powder coated really nicely. And I have had to clearance a little bit of the powder coat. Okay. I have had to clearance a little bit of the powder coat here and there, simply because it's just, you know, it takes up some room, takes up some clearance. So, let's take her on down here. We're going to officially call that the test fit. It's okay. Something we're learning. Move that away from that steering shaft a little bit. Watch our water pump. And she's gonna come right back up here. Easy. I think we just had a little bit of the slave cylinder hanging right there. All right, everything else is clear now. All right, so let's get a look at these here. So I marked just this little section here and here, and it seemed like the whole thing needed a little bit of a twist. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clearance both sides just to give them a little bit more room. You've got your 2 studs on each side, and then you've got 2 bolts on the rear. So if there's a little bit of wiggle room, I don't think that's going to cause us any heartbreak. So protect our engine here. Okay. I hope when Bruce watches this, he doesn't cringe. But he's not here. So this is the solution as I see it. I'm not going to get crazy. That's crazy. Not going to get crazy. We're just going to give it a little bit of clearance. Okay, I like that. Pretty thick metal right there. Okay. I like that. Okay, do a little bit on this side. I know it needed to twist that way, so I'm going to put a little on this side. Oh, tighten this up a little tighter. Okay, so that needs to twist that way. That's what you call a little bit of clearance. All right. Test fit 1 complete. I don't want to move my lift here. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to sweep up until this thing is sitting up in here. All right, here we go. Now let's not get cocky. It basically came right out of there just like that. Okay, slow and steady. Give that just a little kick that way. Everything's looking good. I need to pull this way just a little. Okay. was just our slave cylinder. Again, it's okay though. Everything looks good. From here, I think we're going to try and jack her into position now. I think I'm getting my workout today. Not a bad thing. That's clearing. Okay. How are we looking here? Just a little bit. Okay, now we are right on it over here. We should be a little bit closer this time. Yep. Definitely up on this side again. Started anyway. I feel like we're right there. She is starting there. I'm starting here. And honestly, once I get those 4 studs into position, I'll move you around here a little bit. It's right there. It's just real close, man. It's just real close. I mean, this side goes on pretty good. There's something I'm noticing. Well, looks like it's just gonna go. The flange nut on that stud is right there by that subframe. It's real close, but it looks like it's fitting. All we need now is for this to go into position. Just thinking about it. Man, it's right there. It is right there. The front one is in, the back one is close. The other thing I don't want to do is I don't want to damage the threads on this subframe. I mean on the, I don't want to damage the threads on the stud sticking out from the unibody. But it's right there. And she's gonna go. Don't want to bend anything. Don't want to break anything. And I'm going to have to open that one up just a tiny bit more. The front one's okay, but the back one is just too tight. It's just too tight. You know, I'd rather do this a couple times than screw something up. So this will be an interesting one. I'll have to talk to Bruce about this and see what he says about how often they see this. It's interesting. I suppose there could be just ever slight, teeny tiny variances in these chassis, right? Okay. Back down we come. One more time. Nice and easy. Let's keep an eye on our sleeve cylinder here. Tell you what though, I think I'm digging this cart doing it this way. Gives me full access to the front like this. It's good. All right, this ought to do it. Just a little bit more right there. We have the technology. I personally don't see any other option. So, yeah, I can see how I clearanced this one just a little bit more than this rear one. That ought to do it. Feel like Clark Griswold in Family Vacation trying to diagnose lights. All right. to do it, he says. And she goes over to the garage and flips the lights on. Boom, they all light up. This is going to be our light flipping on right here. Okay. What was going to be, I thought, not that long of a video. Turns out, John, you're going to have to fast forward through some of this. Bolts right in. Okay. See how I'm building my confidence? I'm going faster and faster. Okay, you above the air conditioning lines. Okay, should be able to jack it into place from there. Watch the dipstick tube. Watch the AC cap. Oh. That thing's really meant to be pumped with your leg. Okay, getting close. This has got to come back just a little. Just a little twist there. Oh. One thing's for sure. It's a lot easier with the suspension off. This would be a pain if I had the control arms on there. We'll put those on afterwards. Okay, we're close now. Right on it over there. How are we looking over here? Oh. Oh yeah. Look at that. When it fits, it goes right on. That's weird. So now on this one, definitely going to have to take down just a little bit of this nut on the outside flange, because since we've had to slot that hole, it's not going to be centered. Might have to do it a little bit on this side now too. But all in all, it's just about in there. Just about in there. Okay. Let's see, where can I do that at? Nah, she's gonna go. She's gonna go. All right. Man, wearing me out here today. What's up with that? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run these 4 up into position, and then once we get up in the air, I'll be able to get the rear ones in place. Gonna run them up like that. Oh, mama. Success. Okay. Wow. I did not anticipate that being that hard. But honestly, other than me needing to slot the holes in that subframe, look how well this thing fits in here. I've got room, lots of room for the air conditioning lines. Here's the front of the engine, lots of room for the radiator, which I'll be showing you that. We've got our water pump, the header's clear, and look at all the room back here. All this room. I don't know that I could be a whole lot happier with the way this fits. So, okay, that is our engine installation. Whew, I did not anticipate it being quite that much work, but it's my first one. So I think next time what I'll do is I'm probably going to measure between the 4 studs on the subframe, and depending on if I see a variance in these chassis, which is what I'm betting this is, it's just a little variance in the chassis from Mazda, I might do some pre-slotting ahead of time next time. So this is a bit of a long one, guys. Appreciate you watching. Let's move forward and let's get this thing up in the air and see if we can batten up underneath. Stay tuned for the next iteration.